Ladies and gentlemen, Bobby Halton.
Thank you for joining with us this morning. We've got a very important morning with the Lifetime Achievement Award and the Instructor of the Year. And also with Pete Van Dorf is going to give an incredible presentation. I had a chance to watch Pete rehearse, and I know you're in for a fantastic day. But before we start, I'd like to take just a moment of our time to recognize a few very important people that are here. Our dear sweet friend Donna Alk, Steve's widow, and we're so glad you're here with us. Steve is always in our thoughts and prayers, so thank you for being here. We miss Steve dearly every day, and he was such a huge part of this show in our lives, and we miss you, Steve, and we know he's helping us get through this year after year, so God bless you, and glad to have you. Also, on a different note, we've got a very special announcement to make. We've got growth in the fire engineering family. We're always doing new things, and fire engineering is always looking for the very best possible ways to make the material that we deliver more meaningful, more relevant, and more connected to the fire service. And with that, we're very happy to announce the two, if they would stand up, Lieutenant Ray McCormick and Battalion Chief Eric Roden. Could you stand for a moment? These are the editors and owners and publishers and creators of Urban Firefighter magazine, which is now combined with fire engineering. We'll be doing a monthly column. They'll be the new editors. They're also the new advisory board staff. And Eric and Ray will be crafting fire engineering and FDIC from now into the future. So Urban Firefighter and fire engineering are now one, with the addition of the probably two most cutting-edge minds in the fire service today. And we're very thankful that you guys have acquiesced and decided to join the family. Ray is always reminding us to keep fire in our lives, and we thank you, and it's an absolute blessing to have these two distinguished fire service gentlemen in the fire engineering family. Thank you, guys. And now, if you don't mind, I have a few brief remarks this morning. I'm proud to be a firefighter. There's no higher aspiration, there's no greater ambition than to serve one's fellow citizens as a firefighter. As a firefighter, we accept certain unspoken understandings between us and our communities and between one another. Because of these understandings, what we do and how we behave matters. And so there's a great deal of discussion today in our magazines, online, and even here at FDIC, about our behavior, both on and off the job. With the proliferation of the internet, cameras everywhere, and an increasing interest in our profession and its occasional contradiction to those unspoken understandings, we are coming under increasing scrutiny. Many of us are worried today that the public can easily get the wrong impression when something happens which reflects poorly on our profession. Now, we can prevent a lot of this worry, and we can stop a lot of this behavior if we periodically just step back and rededicate ourselves to the mission. It's always good to recommit, to pledge one's honor, to affirm that we are dedicated to a more noble cause. It's what sets us apart and gives us a sense of purpose and belonging. Yet the act of dedicating oneself to a higher purpose has fallen out of favor. Even the simple act of praying publicly is prohibited in some places now, and it's ridiculed in most, to say nothing of swearing your fidelity and honor. You know, Vince Lombardi once said, "A man can be as great as he wants to be if you believe in yourself and you have the courage, the determination, the dedication, and the competitive drive. And if you are willing to sacrifice the little things in life and pay the price for the things that are worthwhile, it can be done." That is why being dedicated to a set of moral principles and having an ethical compass is a huge part of our tradition. Most of us are always headed true north, But what about those that have publicly gone off course? To address this issue, many firefighters feel that the fire service needs to be recommitted and reaffirmed to our ethics. It's proper and fitting that we should have a discussion about our ethics. Ethics are a set of moral principles. Ethics are traditional, recognized as accepted behavior over a significant period of time. To be sure, our adherence to higher ethical behavior and principles has defined the fire service for its 2,000-year history. Everyone here would agree that the fire service considers humility, honesty, integrity, hard work, courage, and personal responsibility to be the foundational values of our fire service culture. We universally agree that among our fundamental moral principles is first and foremost that we are devoted to the protection of human life, that we exist to serve our communities in the protection of its citizens and its property, that the dignity of each citizen is foremost in how we conduct our work, that we care for and love one another, and that we will diligently obey the laws of our community without exception. Unfortunately, the fire service is composed of human beings. We're flawed and imperfect. We're susceptible to temptation. We're often thoughtless in our conduct. And so we have a dilemma. It's been said that every saint has a past and every sinner has a future. In the past, a minor indiscretion by a firefighter could be kept within a local system. Now with the internet, even a minor indiscretion can go worldwide in an instant, ending a promising career in the court of public opinion. You know, we've all seen firefighters on videos doing pranks, which in hindsight they probably should not have done. On the issues of firefighters behaving badly, we can all list dozens of stupid things, irresponsible behaviors which have involved firefighters, most of which were harmless and goofy, and resulted in no lasting damage to our reputations. On the other hand, clear violations of our moral principles, ethical violations, such as firefighters stealing, are a complete other issue. We are trusted implicitly by the citizens we serve. Any blemish on this trust, like stealing money, is a major hit to our hard-earned reputations and one that we cannot afford or tolerate. The public will not tolerate us stealing, and neither should we. The fire service is dependent on the trust of the community in order to do our jobs correctly and efficiently. People must trust us to do the right thing, regardless of temptation or opportunity. This is why understanding our ethics and being committed to them and living them is so critical. Unethical behavior that gets reported on the news, such as firefighters paying others to work for them, that's fraud and tax evasion. Claiming physical disability, then winning bodybuilding contests, or working physically demanding jobs under the table, that's illegal and unethical. The problem is the nightly news has it. People see us. Now every firefighter is a thief, a scam artist, or a fraud. Our trust is squandered. The faith that the community had in it, that fundamental element, that bond with the citizen, that previously unquestioned trust, is lost. In an attempt to provide education and guidance on the issue of ethics, some fire service leaders published a fire service ethics statement. It's several pages long, and it lists a multitude of behaviors which are identified by the authors as unethical. It is an extremely noble and worthwhile endeavor, and one which we should all vigorously support. But we should also have a way to provide ourselves with a more simplistic and less elaborate reminder of our basic ethical commitments, an oath, a code of honor for the fire service. And along with that code, we should have a more formal covenant, a creed, a profession of our beliefs. The United States military academies recognize the need for a code, a way to keep moral, ethical behavior as a norm for our future military officers. West Point's honor code reads simply, a cadet will not lie, cheat, or steal, nor tolerate those who do. Cadets accused of violating the honor code face severe consequences, including expulsion. The U.S. Air Force honor code is very similar, but they added an honor oath. We will not lie, steal, or cheat, nor tolerate among us anyone who does. Furthermore, I resolve to do my duty and live honorably, so help me God. Simple and clear. Do the same constraints on behavior apply to firefighters? Absolutely. Can we adopt that honor code? Absolutely. Could we include this brief honor statement in our appointment oaths, in our promotional oaths? Perhaps we could recite it at our major events like FDIC. I don't see why not. Rededicating ourselves is important. It is noble. And more than ever, it is necessary. If we look at our core moral principles, we have everything covered with that simple code. The honor oath is critical. To do my duty and live honorably, so help me God. It's always fitting to ask for the help of divine providence in any endeavor such as ours, where lives are on the line and where the ultimate sacrifice of oneself is an ever and clear reality. We can all memorize the fire service oath and live it. Arguably 99.9% of you already do. But something is missing in just telling someone what you won't do. Because these are things that no man or woman should do, regardless of the fact that they are firefighters. No honorable man or woman should lie, cheat, or steal. So what makes firefighters different? What makes firefighters stand apart? What is it that compels us to strive to be a firefighter's firefighter? I asked my kid, who is a naval officer, how the Navy instills in its charges a sense of duty and loyalty. And he just said simply, Dad, we all know, believe in, and can recite the Navy Creed. I went and read the Navy Creed. It's beautiful. Same goes for the Army, the Marine Corps. But when I read the Coast Guard Creed, my throat tightened, my pulse raced. I read it and I reread it over and over and over again. If you consider it, it's remarkable how closely the mission of the Coast Guard matches that of the fire service. The Creed of United States Coast Guardmen could have been written for the fire service. Its principles in this beautiful creed are our principles. The values in it are our values. It's an eloquent statement of our ethics. The United States Coast Guardman was written by Vice Admiral Harry Hamlet. His words were inspired and his vision was clear. The Guardsmen captured those timeless, traditional, moral principles that embody honor. It expresses a commitment to duty, which resounds in the heart of every firefighter, and it makes us want to be better men and women, better firefighters. I wrote to the Commandant of the Coast Guard. I asked to be allowed to share with you, very respectfully, adopted from the United States Coast Guardmen, the Firefighter's Creed. I am proud to be a firefighter. I revere that long line of expert firefighters who, by their devotion to duty and sacrifice of self, have made it possible for me to be a member of a service honored and respected in good times and in bad throughout the world. I will never, by word or deed, bring reproach upon the fair name of the fire service, nor permit others to do so unchallenged. I will willingly and cheerfully obey all lawful orders. I shall always be on time to relieve and shall endeavor to do more rather than less than my share. I will always be at my station, alert and attending my duties. I shall, so far as I am able, bring to my seniors solutions, not problems. I shall live joyously, but always with due regard to the rights and privileges of others. I shall endeavor to be a model citizen in the community in which I live. I shall sell my life dearly to my enemy fire, but give it freely to rescue those in peril. With God's help, I shall endeavor to be one of His noblest works. In reciting this creed, we recognize that long line of firefighters who so selflessly came before us and from whose sacrifice we learn that the mission comes first. In reciting this creed, we affirm that although we are individuals and have responsibilities and commitments, but we respond in teams, and that we are most proud of our work when the mission is accomplished and everyone on that team comes home safely. In reciting this creed, we acknowledge that although we carry a burden of a virtuous honor, which humbles us and buckles our knees under its weight, for to blemish it, to tarnish its luster, is something that we can never permit ourselves, nor any other to dare. In reciting this creed, we commit ourselves to principles, our core moral principles of hard work and individual responsibility. In reciting this creed, we dedicate ourselves to being problem solvers and teammates, forever bonded in a brotherhood of morally principled and ethical firefighters. In reciting this creed, we acknowledge that we will celebrate life with a reckless abandon, as only those who live every day with that constant reminder of the fragility of this existence can. But always mindful of others, always respectful of those around us. And finally, if you choose to recite this creed, and freely you must choose, for to do so is something no one can force you to dedicate yourself to such a noble and selfless cause. In reciting this creed, you pledge to be a role model to other citizens, willing to be held to a higher standard, willing to suffer the consequences of higher expectations in everything that you do. When you recite this creed, you dedicate yourself, your life, your energy, and your eternal passions, even to the point of risking your last full measure so that others might live. All this we pledge before God and one another. We ask for this burden to be placed on our backs, this yoke around our necks, and we do it joyfully and we do it willingly. All of you are living this creed. You're defending this honor every day. I am honored to be part of this brotherhood, this family, to stand with men and women who are willing to recite this creed and pledge their lives, their honor to God, the mission, and one another. I am proud to be a firefighter. Thank you and God bless.